Hi everyone, my name is Wilder-Wulf, and this is my presentation on issues that women are facing around the world today. Being a part of that population, I wanted to do something that was meaningful and something that I appreciated as a woman and just as a human with rights. And so, approaching this assignment, I wanted to research a little, and I found a website called Global Issues, which focus on the major issues women are facing, so this assignment. And this website focused on social, economic, environmental, etc. But one issue that stuck out to me was education. And the reason this stuck out was because education to me is extremely important because I will be the first woman in my immediate family to graduate college with a degree. And my family has just always been very supportive of what I've done and the choices that I make. And going to college was a choice that I got to make on my own. And to me, that's just very important. Unfortunately, that choice isn't made across the world by women everywhere because they don't get that choice. About a year ago, I heard a quote from a good family friend who basically said that learning is so beautiful because our knowledge is something that no one can take away from us. Once we learn something, it's ours to keep, and learning is just an ever-going process. You never truly stop learning. So I'm going to start off with a couple of statistics which seem never-ending once you start researching this topic, but I found a website called The Culturist, and it shared with me that a quarter of girls aged 15 to 24 in developing countries don't ever pass or complete primary school. So this is simple things that we take for granted every day, which is like reading and writing and your basic mathematics, 2 plus 4, what does that equal? Easy subtraction. 774 million illiterate people in the world. Those 2/3 of those are female. In sub-Saharan African, almost 16 million girls are not in school as of right now. The Population Reference Bureau online provides tables with statistics with things like this. In the Middle East and North Africa, the numbers of people over age 15 who are illiterate are 76,000, which women accumulate to 50,000 of those. And then this one really stood out to me. Nearly 1 in 5 girls in developing countries become pregnant before they're 19, which seems kind of crazy to me just because teen pregnancy is something we're trying to beat in the United States, and that's something we've somewhat overcome. So in analyzing all of this data, a quarter of girls aged 15 to 24 in those developing countries equals 116 million girls. So quite a few. And then of the 774 million illiterate people in the world, and the 2/3 are female, that's 493 million women who are illiterate. As for the sub-Saharan African, almost the 16 million girls that are not in school, that's a lot. And then for the Middle East and North Africa, 76 of the 50,000, that's well over half. That's 66%. And then the reason the 1 out of 5 girls in developing countries become pregnant before 19, the reason that stood out to me because in furthering that research, I found that women in those developing countries who do become pregnant, 70,000 of those women die each year because of pregnancy issues. So that's kind of concerning. I guess that's not something I've really focused on before or ever really knew, so it just really stood out to me. As far as like improving this problem, as well as you all know, if you've ever watched Harry Potter, Emma Watson became an ambassador for the UN's Women's. She launched a campaign, He for She, and it focuses more on the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes. Later on, in a huge interview she did, she said that no country in the world can yet say that they've achieved gender equality or overcome that barrier. We have to stop defining each other by what we are not and start defining ourselves by what we are, and we can all be freer. And that's basically what her campaign is about. So I think that's really important. I think things like that will help us overcome not only women needing their education, but and not have to overcome men, but just stand out. Like They don't have to overpower men. They don't have to overcome them. They don't have to beat them out. They just need to be the most of who they can be. And just even in our textbook, her story, they share these kind of movements and the opportunity that it's given women. It's gone and proved that women are just as capable of being leaders. They're just as capable of voting. They're just as capable of preaching. They're capable of working, just being human beings. And then lastly, I read an article on the pbskids.org. When you educate a girl, she will earn up to 25% more and reinvest 90% of her income to her family. So I think with that being said, obviously education for women impacts her family in the future and their communities and just society in a positive effect. I think one thing that we need to start doing a little bit more of is promoting teachers. Teachers, I feel like, don't receive enough money. I don't think they receive enough credit at times. I definitely think that teachers need to be appreciated a lot more, and I think that with that being said, more people will want to be teachers. I think teachers have the capability of changing the world. I personally have known someone to go overseas and just outreach to children who have never read before and have taught them to read, and I feel like that's just kind of, just hearing her stories was very empowering. I also think that supporting and promoting campaigns or like even nonprofit organizations who help education of women overseas and all around the globe. One that I read about was Camp Ed, and they've recently gained a lot of money and a lot of promoters to help this issue. So I think it's just very important to start focusing on, and I think education in general is something to really focus on for women, because I think some of the most powerful women, Hillary Clinton, I think Emma Watson herself, is just very important, and it's something that I don't think that very many people appreciate. I think it's something we take for granted a lot. So I hope that you've enjoyed my presentation and statistics that I've shared, and I hope it's something you start thinking about, and I hope education is something you start to appreciate. Thank you.